Hopefully you'll be able to turn the lights down a little bit, make your room a bit more ambient. Nice soft music in the background. This is not about burning calories or getting into all sorts of funky poses. It's just nice to just stretch out those joints, stretch out those tight areas of the body, namely the hips. We'll get tight in the hips, sometimes in our shoulders. I like to do a little bit of core work as well, because core is obviously very important to everything that we do in life. So that generally goes with mobility, as well as a bit of balance as well. So we do try and do some balance work along with it all as well. All right, guys, so if we can just sit down on our knees. So remember, if you need that rolled up cushion or pillow, then that's fine. When we're kneeling down here, we're not just hunched over waiting, so we're nice and upright. And then we're just going to take a moment to tune into our breath. Can you all hear me all right, by the way? I haven't got my headset on. Cool. Let me just mute you all, actually. Mute all. All right. So kneeling down. So nice and upright. Let's roll those shoulders back. Let's just place those hands on the belly, tune into our breath. The eyes can remain open, or you can have them closed if you prefer. I tend to tune into my breath better if I close my eyes. We're just going to tune into our breathing. And we want to send that breath all the way down into the belly. So we want to feel the belly expand on our in-breath. Many of us breathe the other way round. So when we take the breath in, we feel our chest expand and our belly goes in. But our natural breath should make our belly expand as the breath comes in, giving the diaphragm room. Sometimes it can feel a bit unnatural to breathe like that. So fill up that belly with the breath, and then we have a nice long exhale. And slowly want you to tip your head to one side. So I'm going to the right hand side. We're just going to stretch out along the neck, the long side of the neck. We're just stretching it out, making sure that shoulder isn't coming up. So consciously take those shoulders down. And as we breathe in, we're going to slowly roll our head round to the front so that our ear is by our other shoulder. So we're just stretching out the other side of the neck now. Again, remembering shoulders down, don't let them come up with that tension. We hold a lot of tension in our neck. We're trying to release some of that tension. So again, we're going to roll the head forwards nice and slowly. Remembering our nice big breaths that we do. Just coming back round to the side that we started. Remembering to fill that belly with the breath. And then once more, we're just going to roll our head forwards nice and slowly. And we're just stretching out the other side of the neck for the second time. And remembering our breath. Now we're going to move to the upper back. So I want you to widen your knees, wider than the mat. I want you to keep your big toes together in the centre behind you. And then I want you to come forwards and rest on your hands as well. And then when you're ready, I want you to push your bottom back onto your heels. So you're pushing out the palm of your hands. And then just pushing that bottom back all the way to your heels if you can. And then when you can feel yourself relax, I want you to take that forehead onto the mat. And I want you to feel that stretch on the inner thigh. Because we're wider than the mat, we're going into external rotation in those hips. So you should feel it more on the inner thigh than the lower back. So I want to send that breath all the way down to that area of tension. And And this session is just all about holding these poses until we can feel the tension release. We're taking the breath into that tension. And we want to feel it release. So we're holding these poses longer than you would do in a normal gym cool down. Really relax that forehead onto the mat. If you can creep your fingers a little bit more forward, you'll feel that stretch increase in those inner thighs. And we just want to send the breath down there. I'm just going to hold it here for 1 second. This is your resting pose. If anything ever gets too much for you, you come back to this position and you rest here. Okay guys, coming up onto your hands. We're just going to move our knees a little bit further inwards. So we've got a bit of a narrower stance. Our heels stay where they are. We're going to send our bum all the way back again. This time you should feel a bit more of a stretch in the lower back. Again, resting that forehead on the mat. Listen to the beat of that music, releasing the tension from the face and the shoulders. Try and make those hands feel nice and light on the mat. And send that breath down to your lower back. You may want to have a little bit of a wiggle around. If you can find any spots of tension. So just draw little circles with those hips, one way and then the other. And just find an area that you find some tension in that you need to send that breath to. And just relax that forehead on the mat. I'm just going to hold it here for another couple of breaths. And in your next in-breath, we're going to come up onto all fours. We're going to straighten ourselves out. We did this last week, we went into the horse stance. So what we're going to do this week is take one arm up, so we're nice and parallel with the opposite leg also coming up. Remembering we're going to tip our hips from being crooked to being straight. And we're going to breathe into that stretch and that pose. This is amazing for core stability. This week we're going to just progress it a little way. We're going to bring that elbow in and the knee in, and they're going to meet under you. And then we're going to send them back out again. You may feel yourself start to wobble a little bit. That's good. It means your muscles are switched on and working. And next in breath, we're going to bring that elbow in to meet the knee underneath our stomach. So we're going into kind of a crunch. And then sending our arm and our leg back out again. So we're going to do 4 on each. We've done 3 here. We have 1 more to do. Remembering those hips are not crooked. They're nice and square. And next big breath in, we're going to bring that elbow and knee to meet underneath our belly. And sending them back out again. And placing them back on the mat. We're going to put our heels together and go back into that resting pose. So we're back into that child's pose. Remembering to rest that forehead on the mat. Release any tension from the core that you feel. And then when you're ready, coming back onto all fours again. So we're going to do exactly the same with the other side. So whatever hand that you lifted off before stays on the mat. And this time we're taking the other arm out in front of us. And the opposite leg. Remembering to really make sure those hips are nice and square. And we're going to meet our knee to our elbow under our tummy. So we're going to crunch them in. We're going to meet nice and slowly. We're going to hold it there. And we're going to send that arm and that leg back out again. Making sure we're nice and squared off. Again, feeling yourselves wobble. I'm wobbling, so you're probably wobbling. And again, next deep breath in, we're going to meet the elbow to the knee, all off the ground, and send them back out again. And slowly again on our next big in-breath, elbow is going to meet the knee, crunching up, and releasing that crunch. Making sure we're still squaring those hips. We have one more to do. Next big breath, elbow to knee. And sending that hand and that leg out. All four hands and legs on the floor, going back into that resting child's pose. Taking nice deep breaths in, so any tension that you can feel again. This time, guys, we're coming up onto all fours. I want you to tuck your toes under, sending your hips up to the ceiling, pushing out of the palm of your hands. We're going into that down dog position. So we're coming up. Pressure is out of the heel of your hands. Hips are going to sky. And then we're trying to get the heels of our feet as close to the floor as possible. You don't have to touch them down. Our ears are staying by our elbows. And we're looking at our knees. We're activating our shoulders. And we're pushing out of those hands. And we're remembering our breath. And on our next big in-breath, we're going to take our left foot and we're going to lunge it all the way through the middle of our hands. So we're in a nice long lunge position. Our back knee goes to the floor. Our toes tuck under. And we lift our hands up to the ceiling. Eye gaze follows hands, and we really relax into that stretch. So we're stretching out those hip flexors down along the back leg. Extending that lunge, making sure our leg at the front is at a 90-degree angle and that we're still breathing. So we're nice and tall and strong. We're going to take our right hand to the floor. Our left hand stays up. And we're taking our eye gaze up that left arm. We've got that nice spinal twist coming in. And on our next big breath, we're going to take that left hand back to the floor. We're going to tuck our back toes under, taking our knee off of the floor. We're going back into that down dog. So pushing our front leg forward, back into that down dog. Remember activating our shoulders, elbows to the back of the room, ears are by our elbows, hips are nice and high, and our feet are as close to the floor as you can get them. Nice and soft in the knees, don't knock them out. And we have two legs, so we need to do this exact move with the other leg. So we're going to take our right leg, and we're going to take a nice long lunge forward between our hands. I'm going to take that back knee down, toes are under. And on our next big breath, we're going to take a big rise up to the ceiling and sink into those hip flexors. So sinking into that lunge. Eye gaze goes to ceiling, making sure we have a 90-degree bend in that front leg. Feeling that stretch down the front of the thigh of the back leg. And on our next big breath, we're going to take that left hand to the floor and the right hand stays to ceiling. And we're going to take our eye gaze all the way up the arm to the ceiling. Just feeling that nice twist in the back. And then when we're ready, we're going to place that hand back onto the floor. We're going to curl our back toes under. We're going to send that right leg back. We're coming back into that down dog position. Sending our hips back up to the ceiling. And we're going to hold it here. And on our next big breath, we're going to come forward into that high plank. I'm going to hold it here. Activating those shoulders, making sure those wrists are under those shoulders. We're just going to hold this high plank for 1 second. Now we're going to send our hips back up to the sky, back into that down dog. And when you're ready, guys, I want you to walk those hands into your feet. And we're just going to hang there in forward fold. The belly rests on the thighs. And we hang there nice and relaxed. And on our next big breath, we're going to rise up. We come up to standing nice and slowly. Head is the last thing to come up. Rolling those shoulders back. Coming into the center of your mat. This is where we're going to lose our balance. So we're going to try the tree pose today. So I want you to place your foot, left foot is going to stay on the ground for me. Making sure all 5 toes are on the mat. And then I want you to take your right foot, and you can either have it by your ankle, we can go by just under your knee, not on the knee, or we can bring that foot up further into the groin area, wherever you're comfortable. And then we go into prayer mudra. So our thumbs are to our sternum, focusing on one point in front of you. How still can you be? Concentrating on that breath. We're going to take those hands up to the ceiling and reach up as far as we can without losing our balance, making sure our hips are nice and open. Focusing on that one point in front of you. You can feel those ankle bones and joints working hard to stabilize you. And on our next big breath, we're going to release that foot. And our arms are coming apart and we're coming into that big star. We're just leaning over slightly to the left-hand side. And we're growing that big, bright, shining star. And we're sending that top shoulder blade back so we're nice and round. Arm up to the sky. Left hand to the floor. How far can we lean? Testing that balance. And we're going to breathe in and release it. Shaking out that ankle. We have 2 legs. So again, we're taking that left leg, so the right leg for me is staying on the floor. So the left leg comes to your ankle, just below your knee, or you're coming with me up higher. Making sure those hips are nice and open. And again, we're taking our thumbs to sternum in that prayer position. And we're focusing on that one point in front of us. And we're thinking about nothing else but our breath. Not holding any tension in the face or the shoulders. And only feeling the stabilizing muscles of that ankle on the floor. And on our next big breath, we're going to take those hands up to ceiling, both together, and growing as tall as we can, while we're keeping that balance. And remembering that breath. And on our next big breath, we're going to release that foot. I'm going to grow that tree. The hands are coming apart. I'm going to lean over to the right hand side. Grow that tree. And hang here in the pose falling star. Right on balance. Sending that breath down to the ankle. Keeping that leg straight. And taking a nice big breath, we're going to release that pose. Shaking it all out. Hope you're balanced nice and stably there. We're just going to come back to the floor now. Do a last hip opener stretch. So if you've done strength with me, you might have done this before, but we're going to take this a little bit further. So on your front leg, I want you to have a 90-degree angle, so to your chest. So your thigh is straight in front of you, and then your shin is at a 90-degree angle, and your foot is flexed. And then your back leg is exactly the same. So I want your back leg as a 90-degree angle as well. But I don't want you to lean. I want you to sit up straight. And use your hand to guide you. And when you hold your other arm out, I want you to make sure that that back thigh is in line with the arm. So some people might not have the leg far enough back, so really push that leg back until it's in line with the arm as you pull it out. Again, that foot is flexed. And sitting up nice and upright, we're going to roll those shoulders back, and we're slowly going to come over the front thigh. But I don't want you to hunch over. I want you to stay nice and upright with that chest, and just come as far forward as is comfortable for you. Some of you may find you have one hip tighter than the other. So I can only come to about this far down on this hip. Because if we hunch over and just do this, we're not really stretching that hip, we're not really opening it. So we need to keep that chest nice and lifted and just come forward. And I want you to imagine those seat bones that you have in your back are like headlights, and they're kind of starting to point upwards. And just lean a little bit further if you can, if not, stay where you are. Beautiful. All right, guys, I want you to change to the other leg. So the other leg is now in your front. So that's my right leg. My thigh is right in front of me. My shin is off to a 90-degree angle. My foot is flexed. And then my back leg, again, this is my tight hip. So I can feel myself sitting at the side. So I'm trying to push myself up with that hand. And I'm making sure that back thigh is in line with my arm as I hold it out to the side. This is my very uncomfortable side. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. I'm going to keep my chest lifted, and I'm going to just come slowly over my front thigh, just to open that hip. Again, making sure you're not hunching. Holding it here, breathing into any tension. If you can go a bit further, then push a little further. There should be no pain. If there's pain, then I want you to back off. Breathing into that stretch. and find any tension. So externally and internally rotating the hip at the same time. Lovely, guys. I want you to release that stretch. And then we're going to finish off with that lovely adductor stretch that we all know and love. So we're going to take our legs out as wide as we can. And this is where we really use our breath to take any tension out of those inner thighs. Your inner thighs get very tight if you sit all day. So we want to take your hands to the floor in front of you and just walk them out until you can feel the tension in your inner thighs and stop. I want you to hold it there. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to tune into your breath. And I want you to send that breath into those inner thighs. And I want you to release any tension from the knees. So if you're holding your knees, let it go. And just breathe. Just breathing and relaxing. When you can feel that tension start to release, I want you to take your hands a little bit further out in front of you. Again, we are not hunching over, we're keeping that chest nice and lifted. And when we walk our fingers out, if we've tightened up in those knees again, relax, physically relax those knees. That's where you're going to hold the tension. Sending the breath to the inner thighs. Making sure those breaths, those inhales and those exhales are nice and long. And when you feel that tension start to release, we're taking those fingers a little bit more forward. Just a little bit forward until it feels uncomfortable again. And then we breathe into that tension. And remembering to take the tension out of the thighs and the knees. Maybe you're hunching your shoulders up to release them. Maybe you're tensed in the face, so release that. Just letting that breath take that tension out of those inner thighs. So you can walk your hands a little bit more forward. If you're already where you are comfortable and you don't want to go any further forward, then just hold where you are and concentrate on that breath. Otherwise, come a little bit more forward. And breathe into that tension. Concentrate on the breath. Taking the beat of that music. Transport yourself away. Making sure you feel nice and calm and relaxed. And on our next big breath in, we're just going to walk our hands back into our body and coming up into a seated position. And when you're ready, I want you to shake those legs out, bring them together, and then I want you to find a nice comfortable position for relaxation, whether that be lying or sitting. If you need to put something warm on, please do so. So taking a nice lay down, nice and relaxed. This is your time for you, and your time to be calm. Today we're just going to do a simple body scan. Just relaxing every part of the body as we go. Hopefully you've still got your music on in the background. If you're nice and comfortable, I want you to roll your head from side to side. And then take any final adjustments until you're comfortable. And I want you to close your eyes. Now let your body talk to you. How's it feeling? Do you need to relax your shoulders down a little more? Do you need to let your feet drop out to the side? Is your head comfortable? During this meditation, I want you to consciously send relaxation to each part of your body. And I want you to repeat silently after me. I am relaxing my toes, my heels, and my ankles. My toes, heels, ankles are relaxed. I am relaxing my calves, my shins, my knees, and my thighs. My calves, my shins, knees, and thighs are relaxed. I am relaxing my pelvis and my hips. My pelvis and hips are relaxed. I am relaxing my stomach and my lower back. My stomach and lower back are relaxed. I am relaxing my chest, my middle, and my upper back. My chest, my middle, and upper back are relaxed. I am relaxing my internal organs, my heart, my lungs, liver, and my kidneys. My internal organs, my heart, lungs, liver, and kidneys are relaxed. I am relaxing my fingers, palms, and ribs. My fingers, palms, and ribs are relaxed. I am relaxing my forearms, my elbows, and my upper arms. My forearms, elbows, and upper arms are relaxed. relaxing my shoulders and my neck. My shoulders and neck are relaxed. I am relaxing my head, scalp, eyes, nose, cheeks, mouth, tongue, jaw, ears and brain. My head, my scalp, my eyes and my nose, my cheeks and my mouth, my tongue, my jaw, my ears and brain are relaxed. My entire body is completely relaxed. My entire body is completely relaxed. I am staying relaxed. My body is staying relaxed. And now we need to bring awareness back, but we need to keep that sense of relaxation and calmness. So when you're ready, and only when you're ready, I want you to start to make some small adjustments and awaken that body. Maybe rolling your head from side to side, wiggling those fingers and those toes. And when you're ready, I want you to stretch those arms and legs as long as you can, taking in a nice, big, long inhale of breath. And just relish that sense of calmness and how good do you feel today. And when you're ready, I want you to roll onto your left-hand side if you're laying. And just stay here one moment. And when you feel ready, I want you to come into a seated position, keeping your eyes closed. I want you to bring your palms to your knees. And slowly roll your head from side to side, just like we did at the start. And when you're ready to let the light in, I want you to slowly open your eyes and bring awareness back to the room that you're in, of how you feel and who you are. And with that, I wish you good night, ladies. Namaste. Have a good sleep.